how to estimate services and make more money. Stick around for the whole video to see how we add services and test pricing to make sure we're winning.
I'm a wanted man. I got blood on my hands. Do you understand? I'm a wanted man. I'm a wanted man.
All right, guys, before we get into this, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. The more likes this channel gets, the more subscribers this gets, the more shares, the more we can push this information out to the other people that need it. They can get value from it and can help grow their businesses. So this is a really cool topic. Estimating new services can be challenging. You know, whether this is a new lawn care company, a new landscaping company, you know, you first get in. This was always something that I wanted to know. It's like, how do you come up with these prices? How do you know these times? You don't have any information yet. And the same goes for adding a new service in a company that's always up and running. You know, there's so much wonder to it. There's so much concern. There's so much fear of, am I not right? Is this not the way I should be estimating this? Is this not the way I should be thinking about this? And know that everyone's got those exact same feelings. And in point one of this, I'm gonna go over that. You know, estimating new services can be hard. And the reason why is when you're estimating a new service, you have no idea how long it will take. If you've never done it before, if you've never mowed a lawn, if you've never edged a property that's got grass hanging over a foot or whatever the case is, you've got no idea how that's gonna go, the amount of time it's gonna take, and it gives you, you lack certainty in it, and that makes you just freak out and not know exactly what you're gonna do. So what you need to do is learn every single thing you can about the service. Just like when I got into business, or when I continue adding services, I obsess over the service. I go out and I read about it. I learn about it. I listen to audiobooks about it. I study it on the internet. I study it on YouTube. I study it everywhere I can to make sure I'm learning everything I need to know about that service so I can come in well educated. And with that, as you're doing all those things, you need to make sure that you allocate additional time, because it's your first time. It's going to take longer, and you want to protect yourself. You want to do as much as you can to protect yourself. Although I will say that even if you don't protect yourself, even if you lose out, as long as it's not a major, massive job, you know, it's not necessarily the profit you get out of that first service, that first job, that first time you're offering a new service. The profit you're actually earning is usually the learning from it. It's not necessarily your business that's profiting from it the first time. It's you and what you learn, so then you can take that into the future and make your business profit with this new service. So point two of this is breaking down everything into smaller jobs to make it easier to understand. So with that being said, the first part of just breaking it down is we're gonna simplify it. You know, if you're gonna mow your first lawn ever, don't go mow 30 acres, bid on a 30-acre property. Don't do that. So first, take on a small job so you can build confidence towards a bigger job. And with the reason being, like I said, breaking things down is, if you're doing something really small that's manageable, that if you screw up, it's not as big of a deal because it's so tiny and it's easy to figure out and it's easy to recoup from, you know, you can take that small piece once you've learned how long it takes and the information about it, or learned what not to do, and then you can put that into a bigger job. Same with the estimating. You can take what you learned about this small little job, and every big job is just a bunch of little small jobs. You know, I had to describe to someone new in the office, we were working on an office and field, he's kind of a floater, but I had to describe to him, he was concerned about bidding on something. And I had to describe to him, it's like, it was just because it was big. And it was something we've done a lot of, so it really doesn't matter. But it was just because it was big that it was confusing him and making his certainty definitely lack on it. And I said, so, well, what about this other job we recently did? It was like a 16th of this. And I said, if you had to bid on that, would you be certain about the price? And he said, yeah, for sure. And I said, so this big job is 16 of those little ones, with a lot of not having to tear down and set up and tear down and set up at new sites. So if you knew exactly how long it'd take to do that, Focus all of that into the new job. Build all that thought process into this bigger job so you can estimate it correctly. If you don't understand something while estimating it, break it down into smaller pieces until you understand it. You know, if it's a leaf cleanup, a lot of times I'll look at like a fall cleanup and wow, the whole yard just kind of is too much if it's like a massive property. And I'll look at chunks and I'll say 2 people here, an hour. 2 people here, an hour. And I'll go through the whole property that way, and I'll manage it. Because if someone asked you how long it'd take to clean up a 10 by 10 area, you'd be really, really certain. You just lack that when it's 10 acres. So that's how I've done that. That's how I've explained it. That's how I've always taught it, is break it down into the smallest manageable piece that you can be certain about and wrap your mind around. So that's really how you get into it, how you first you need to learn, then you're gonna go out, you're gonna get some small stuff, and then you're gonna learn from that, plus break it into smaller pieces to help you understand better. But along that way, you know, maybe even before you do that step 3, it depends on how fast you're needing to move into estimating this new service or getting into this new thing, or, you know, kind of like if you've already started this business, a lot of times you've just got to go and you've got to figure it out along the way. So you kind of jump off the hill, jump off the cliff, jump off the building, and build the plane on the way down, you know. Sometimes you just got to jump. But with that being said, now that you've done the homework on the estimate, now that you've thought about how to break it down, now that you've tried to wrap your mind around it, maybe got a little experience doing the service, maybe got a little experience of what you've done, the third key that will take this to the moon and make things even better is finding a mentor. Finding someone that can help you with the problems you're having, with the issues you're having on why is this not getting estimated right? What should I be doing differently? What could I be doing to make this easier for me, for my company? And use that to its fullest extent. Now, the thing that people get hung up on is finding a mentor. You know, a lot of times people act like it has to be someone you're directly dealing with, like me and you face to face talking. And I don't believe that to be true. You know, as long as it's a credible source, the key word's credible. So whether that be someone that is credible on YouTube, doing these jobs or doing whatever it is, or estimating this service or giving you this information, they can be your mentor. You can learn all the things you need to learn from them or from a credible, some other credible source or book or videotapes or cassette tapes, whatever it is, that can be your mentor. It doesn't have to be one-on-one, because the more someone knows, the bigger their company is, the more things they've got going on, typically the less time they have. But I think this is super, super important to realize that you really need to jump on these things quick, that you really need to get moving, because a lot of things get in people's mind that I'm gonna start this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go this direction, and because of fear or a lack of commitment or the unknown of not knowing how to do things, they never actually start. And the biggest deal is just getting starting, just getting through it, just getting moving, because it's a snowball effect that you pick up speed on the way. Even if you estimate something and you screwed up a little bit at first, you get better every time. The big problem is if you don't ever change, if you keep doing it the same, you keep doing the same thing expecting different results, the definition of insanity. If you keep doing the same thing expecting different results, that's where the problem lies. You need to adjust and get better and keep trying from a different angle every time, so you keep moving up. So how this has benefited our business is it has expanded our service offering to customers to attract more customers because we're more full service. It's also allowed us to continue building that brand of a full service company. That's something we've really, really focused on, building our brand around as being full service. Allowed us to gain more revenue streams so we could keep the pipeline fuller, keep employees busier, do more, have more revenue to go back to the marketplace, market more, and get more employees and continue to grow. It's also added new interesting challenges for the owner. There's something that I truly believe about adding new services, and this is not from us starting a business, adding new service point, but from already having a business and continuing to add things. I would very easily get burnt out if all I was doing was running a lawn care business, and that's all I focused on was how do we cut the lawns better, how do we be more efficient, how do we get the best equipment, how do we do this, how do we service it faster so there's no downtime. That would drive me insane. And really what I've done is I've a pivot. We get something really, really good and totally acceptable, and then we pivot first pivot was like fertilization and weed control. Learned a lot about it, became really skilled with chemicals. Then pivoted heavy into landscape, and then that just kind of kept going, and it kept my excitement level up about the business, and it's what I do to this day. So the last kind of thing that I want to talk about though is how it helped our business, and now it's how we make sure we're winning. What's the meat of this? What's important? And I'm gonna beat this thing like a dead horse. If you watch this channel, watched a lot of the videos, it's job costing, job costing, job costing. That's gonna be how you get the winning combination. You need to go out and do a job, and then you need to cost it, and you need to adjust accordingly. Like I said a minute ago, don't keep doing the same thing and expect different results. And the second part to make this work, the job costing, is know your hourly rate. Put some thought into. Watch one of my other videos about man-hour rate. I'll link that up here. So how to get your man-hour rate right, how to know the things that go into that, so you're actually producing the right amount of money, so you have a way to job cost. Because if you have no idea what your man-hour rate is, you have no idea how to job cost, you have no idea what you should even be shooting for. It's like steering a ship with no direction. It's like driving a car without a steering wheel. You're just going, and you're hoping for the best. So the hourly rate here is king to be able to job cost. So that's how we do the whole 9. That's how we add the new service and estimate the new service. That's how we do everything here. That's how we go through the paces. That's what I do to learn and to try to develop the information that it'll take to go out and produce this effectively, and then make sure we're still winning while we're doing these things. Guys, this was a good one. I love adding new services. Like this if you loved it. If you hated this, give this a big thumbs down. I want to know how you feel. Subscribe if you enjoyed this, and you know there's so much more value that's going to come out of this channel that you really need to see this. You really need to get the next video, and hit that notification bell so you know as soon as it drops. Share with someone that this would be beneficial to. If you know someone that's bringing on new services or is thinking about adding a service to their business, share this with them. Let them see this content and say, hey, this guy's doing this way. He's putting out a little information about how they add new services and how they estimate them to make sure they're certain when they're doing them. And share that with them so they can have better luck with these things. Let them gain as much information as they can. I'd love to be their mentor. And before we go, other spots you can follow me on: Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. TikTok, we're working on it. I said that in the last video. 3 little TikTok posts, I think, maybe 4 so far. Guys, it was great talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.